How do you build wealth from nothing? Like, where do you actually start? What is the pathway? What is the roadmap? So let's talk about a few things today. The benefit of starting from nothing is a clean slate and you don't have a lot of baggage along the way. The second thing is the sequence that matters. You want your income to investment pattern. Instead of make money and spend it, you want to make it and invest it. And that pattern is critical. The other way that I say that is build your asset column, then you can have a lifestyle. And most of you are addicted to a lifestyle because you want to look good, look important, or whatever you want to do with it. But a lifestyle is not going to get you wealthy. And from where you are today, because I don't believe any of you have nothing, is how do you close the gap from where you are to what you want and setting some realistic goals. So to start with that, I do want you to go download the book, The Millionaire Maker version 2, came out in 2022, and read up to chapter 3. The gap analysis is about where you are and what do you want. And inside of that, when you set properly focus goals between where you are and what you want. So if you're saying, I really have nothing, I'm making, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and you're spending it all. And you say you want to be a millionaire, 10 million, 5 million, that's too big of a goal and it's too big of a chunk. So motivation comes from a properly set goal. So from where you are to what you want. Now, could you make your first 100, 120, 150, even $250,000 your first year? Easily. And if you're not targeting at least to make that much money, anything under 100,000 as an entrepreneur is rough because you are going to be spending more of it and you're going to need a team. So being an entrepreneur requires you to have about 7 different departments in a business. And most of you think, well, I'll just go be a solopreneur. Solopreneur is suffering because you're going to have to do all the marketing, all the selling, all the accounting and cash flow, all the fulfillment, all the operations, set up all the technology, do all the customer service. There's just too many things to do as you move past. So I want you thinking out of the gate, I want to start with at least a $10,000 a month in my company. And then what's the problem you're going to solve? So the benefit of starting from nothing now, again, back to the clean slate, you have a whole bunch of benefits. So let's just talk about a few benefits of coming from nothing. You don't have a bunch of bad habits you have to unwind. You don't have a bunch of bad digital assets you have to go clean up and unwind. You have no legacy thinking or buddies as saying you can't do anything because you're starting from scratch. Now, to that point, I also would say this isn't a convincing and a cooperation game. A lot of you women, you'll say, oh, I want to start a business. And then you go ask all the people who don't have businesses or have never been successful in a business whether you should do it or not. And they're going to say, oh, you should stay safe. You shouldn't do it. I hear that in real estate all the time. Oh, you can't do that deal. So don't ask people who've not walked this path before because they all have nothing too. And so broke folks hang out with broke folks and we're not hanging out with broke folks. You're going to start, becoming somebody who knows how to make money, how to keep money and how to invest money. The question I'm always asked is, how do I become a millionaire? I say, you got to come hang out with us because you don't know how we live. You don't know how we spend money. You don't know how we invest money. And a lot of the opportunities to invest in alternatives happen at high net worth tables. And you wonder why you're not invited because you haven't had a goal of being there. So part of starting from nothing and building wealth is starting to set realistic goals. I'm going to keep bringing that back over and over. Your sequence will be absolutely critical. So to build the cash machine, you just got to come up with what is the business you're going to build. So inside the Cash Machine book, which is my 3rd of the Millionaire Maker series, I have a skill set analyzer, about 1,000 cash machine ideas. So I'll give you the first 3 chapters in the show notes. So grab this book. While you're there, download the whole book of the version 2, The Millionaire Maker. And again, read up to chapter 3 so you start understanding what the gap is. For me, I would rather have you start a business either like I did. I started 17 years old. I started my first personal training and aerobics construction business. And in my early 20s, I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it. By 24 years old, I was running a multi-million-dollar contract for Chevron. So I knew how to leverage other human capital and other people's talent. So I would get the gigs and outsource to other people. And I knew how to do that early on. The other way to start is to be an affiliate. So when the Rich Dad Poor Dad brand came out, I was the master's distributor of the game. So I sold someone else's stuff until I figured out what I wanted to do because I didn't know that I had the Millionaire Maker in me. In fact, McGraw-Hill came to me and said, will you write the books? And I said, I don't know how to write. I know how to talk. So we talked and wrote, and 6 New York Times later, we have books. But you're not going to start with that level of vision. It's going to appear to you as you grow. So if you don't start taking the first steps, there won't be any next steps. And if you think the yellow brick road is going to be all laid out in the right sequence, it's not going to be because you're going to run into all sorts of different things. And with all the technologies, AI, it is insanely quick right now, the changes that are amongst us. So you've got to decide, you have to be agile, and you need a team of experts around you to do it. So to have the team, you need to make a lot of money. So I would go service-based first. What can you do to serve somebody? So again, I was doing personal training aerobics, service. I was doing the cash flow game, service, having game nights. And then I became a financial coach, which was sharing, the knowledge that I had in becoming a millionaire. So a lot of you have experience. You know what to do. You just haven't decided to monetize it yet. The other part of the sequence of starting from nothing is the way you are handling your debt. We are not going to get you debt free. We're going to manage it. So as you read in The Millionaire Maker, you're going to go all the way to the back, page 194 of the Millionaire Maker book. Inside there, I give you a complete debt plan of how to do what's called the power down and how do you actually level out those high interest debt cards. Because some of you're getting eaten alive by having 18, 20, 23% interest on credit cards. So we got to handle that as part of the process as you're learning to make money. But making money is your highest and most critical thing that you do if you're starting from nothing. And you can all do this. As you make money, you want to hire a team. And a lot of you sequentially, you'll wait to hire a team because you want to keep all the money, and the money that you are making, you're going to need for your lifestyle and just to live. So just know that the first people I think you should hire, I think you need to hire somebody to set your appointments, to help do callbacks for you. Women, you need to get your houses clean so you have all that time back. I mean, running a family and a household takes a lot of work and a lot of energy. So it's not beneath you to not do those tasks. You need to get some support, and you need to get it sooner than you think. In interviews, people say, if you look back, right, years and years ago, what would you have done different? I would have hired faster. I would have hired faster and would have built a database faster. A database is those that are all interested in you. So today, with all the technology you have, you literally could say, your name is, like I was just starting today and I had nothing. I would just come out and I would say, my name's Loral. I'm a money expert. I would like to have you all ask any question you want around money, what do you want me to teach you about? I would do some surveys. I want to know, what do people want that I have the knowledge to provide? And I would provide offers as fast as I can. And so a lot of you, it's right in your front of your fingertips. You're just using social media to talk about your coffees and your lattes and your kids versus use it for business. And how can you serve other people when you understand their problem? The biggest mistake of entrepreneurs in their sequence is you think that you're solving a problem and you haven't asked anybody if that's true. There are so many people who have products, services, and no one's asked them to build them. No one's asked them to buy them. Another tool that we use and teach a lot is pre-orders. So if no one's willing to pay you now, for example, every book that I did had tens of thousands of pre-orders. And so through that, I asked the pre-order folks, what do you want to learn about? And that's what created the bestsellers, because I got a lot of feedback. So don't go build a masterclass or just put up some product online and think that people want it. Ask people what they want and give them what they want, and they'll pay you for it. Broke folks hang out with broke folks. So watch your network, who you're hanging out with. If you want to be in business, you got to start hanging out with entrepreneurs. Employees hang out with employees. Entrepreneurs hang out with entrepreneurs. Now, if you're enjoying this and this channel, I have years and years and years of content. So make sure you visit the playlist, consume at least 10 hours of content. If you want to go all the way to 25 hours of content, I'll give you a $750 credit towards a new tuition that all of you can use as you decide to join into our community. And while you're here, I want you to subscribe to this channel. Click the notification button. Be here 5 days a week. Grab this journal. Have a YouTube journal that you can grab, and it tells you the date you watched the video and what the topics were. What did you learn and what did you do? So that way, over time, you have a 365-day journal of everything you need and what you want to put in to make your plan effective. So how do you close your gap? First of all, again, I want you to do a gap analysis, call our office, do a one-on-one. Go through the debt plan, have that ready, and say, I've already done that. This is what it looks like, so we can really look at your true financial situation. You want to close that gap as fast as you can. You got to start by making money. And as you start making money, put that money away into an investing account. I don't even care if it is just a money market account. I put a lot of my extra cash into iFlip. It's a phenomenal folio-driven AI system that actually takes you in and out of the market based on what the market's doing. So you can grab a free app to iFlip, which is where I put my money. Put your money there. So you can make it, put it there. You can put it into a Roth IRA. You can put it into any sort of an account that starts making you more money. So then get your money making money. So you're going to make it, invest it, and continue what I call that wealth cycle. That over time, done consistently with determination, some mentoring and guiding. Be here every day on this channel. Learn what you need to learn. Again, whatever topic you're into next, I'm sure I have some content about it. If you run into some content that you can't find on my channel, put it in the comments below and we'll put out a video in the next month or two. We're here to help you. And you can just always go to askloral.com. Ask a question, make a request. AskLoral. We're there 24/7 answering your questions. So don't let a day go by and just be a victim of what's not happening in your life. Take control, take action.